Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalia. Today's video is one that I've wanted to honestly make for a long time, but I was always kind of nervous to discuss this topic. So those of you who are new here, I make content on everything pretty much, especially topics that revolve around Puerto Rico, the Latinx community. I do makeup looks, hair stuff, you name it, you will find it here. So go ahead and click that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you're notified anytime that I post a video. So like I said, this is a topic that I wanted to discuss for a really long time, but I was afraid of becoming too divisive or political here on my channel, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it is an important topic for us to discuss, especially those of us who do not live in Puerto Rico. So if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, today we are going to be discussing Puerto Rico and statehood versus independence, because I want to open the dialogue amongst all of us here. I feel like I have a good sized community of Puerto Ricans that are from the mainland and Puerto Ricans that are from the United States or even live in other countries, which I find amazing. So for those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in New York City, but I feel a really strong tie to my Puerto Rican heritage. It is something that I rep very much here on this channel. I feel like this is something that we need to talk about and understand more, because we vacation there, we visit family every now and then, but we really don't understand the struggle of living there. Even if you're not from Puerto Rico, I encourage you to stay and watch this video, because I've honestly gotten questions from people all over who really don't understand what the relation is between Puerto Rico and the United States, and that's because it's very complicated. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stop rambling and we're just gonna get into this topic, because the thing that forced me to sit my butt down here and talk about this was a headline that I came across just yesterday, and it says, Trump floated the idea of selling Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, says ex-Homeland Security head Duke. Selling Puerto Rico. So in this video, I want to answer 5 important questions. The first one being, what is the current situation? So currently, Puerto Rico is considered a commonwealth to the United States. And here I've got the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition for commonwealth. And it says, a nation, state, or other political unit such as A, one founded on law and united by compact or tacit agreement of the people for the common good, or B, one in which supreme authority is vested in the people. So that being said, Puerto Rico does not receive the same full rights like a regular state does, such as New York, where I live. They do not have any federal voting representation in Congress, except for one resident commissioner in the House of Representatives, but they can't vote on major bills such as senators or people that are in the House of Representatives are able to do. Puerto Ricans also do not pay federal income tax, and they are not allowed to vote for president. They can actually vote in the primaries, but they can't vote in the actual general election, which makes no sense to me. They are also able to fight for the military. So in other words, we're able to die for this country, but not vote for the people that send us there. Sorry, clearly I'm getting ahead of myself, but that is just a basic synopsis of where Puerto Rico is right now. They are, again, born as US citizens, which means you do not need a passport to travel to and from the States. The passport that you get is an American one. They use the US dollar there as well, and English is the second main language of the island, the first one obviously being Spanish. So this November 3rd, Puerto Ricans will again get the opportunity to vote in a referendum to elect whether they want statehood or they would like to seek independence. Over the last few years, statehood has always greatly outnumbered independence, but a lot of the time the voter turnout rate isn't really large at all. And at the end of the day, even though Puerto Ricans are voting for a certain status, it still needs to go through Congress and presidential approval, which has obviously not been the case for all of these years. Which leads me to my second question. Why do people want statehood? Now look at everything that I just said and that Puerto Ricans are not eligible for or able to do. And I really want to open this question in the comments for those of you who really are for statehood and what your main reasoning is for it. I am not going to give my opinion really yet. At the end of the video, we'll talk more about that. The main reason I see people wanting statehood is because of so little, barely any federal representation that Puerto Rico has. You have people that don't even live there, that never lived there, that are making decisions for the island. And Puerto Rico, I mean, if you guys, unless you were living under a rock, then you know of the entire movement that happened last year with the Ricky Renuncia, where basically we were able to get the governor out of office because of ton of corruption that was going on the island and is still going on the island. Puerto Ricans just want rights, official rights. It's so blurry, the line of where they stand, that I think that a lot of people see statehood as the better option because Puerto Rico is already a poor island and we would be able to receive more federal aid there possibly quicker. I don't believe that if, God forbid, a hurricane as bad as Hurricane Maria hit Florida or hit anywhere else along the coast, that people would still be suffering the way that they are in Puerto Rico. That being said, I know that people after Hurricane Katrina back in New Orleans were suffering for a very long time, and it took them a very long time to get aid, 100%. But the vision is bigger than just that, because along with that being the case, there just aren't many rights for Puerto Ricans as US citizens. Like I said, the line is so blurry, and I want you to leave down below what your biggest reason is if you are in favor of statehood. What is it about statehood that really appeals to you? Something else that happened in Puerto Rico too was all of the tax incentives that were given to businesses when they moved onto the island. The economy in Puerto Rico is super weak. The unemployment rate is high, and it's hard for people where you live in an island and you feel like you can't even get a decent job. Like who wants to live like this? And so that's another thing that statehood would improve. So again, let me know down below, what are your reasons? Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, why are there people who want independence? One of the biggest reasons I've heard over the years about why people want independence from the United States and do not want for Puerto Rico to become the 51st state is because of the fear of not being able to preserve the culture. I fully understand this because I personally do believe that if Puerto Rico does become the 51st state, that Spanish will slowly be phased out as the main prominent language of the island. English will be implemented, classes will be taught in English. Now I do think with more people being able to move there and businesses starting there and all of that, that the culture can get a little bit lost. I do think that'll take a significant amount of time, but I do think that it can happen. There are also a lot of people who want independence mainly because they do not see statehood as ever being a real option for Puerto Rico. A lot of people feel that Puerto Rico will always be in this like murky, blurry water with the United States, that they rather just try and build their own civilized country. There are lots of things. Again, this is a long battle, and I want you who are in favor of independence to please let me know down below. I really want to engage in conversation with you guys and just get a full feel, because I see so many people voting for statehood as opposed to voting for independence. I don't really hear that many strong opinions about why people feel independence is the way. So now that brings me to what are our thoughts, or I guess my thoughts. And I don't want to disappoint anybody with this answer, but I truly have come to understand through a conversation that I was having with my cousin actually, that it doesn't really matter what my opinion is. As much as I love Puerto Rico and as proud as I am to be from where I'm from and my heritage and everything, I live in New York, and bringing it back to the point I made earlier, being able to go over there for vacation, being over there to stay in a nice hotel or stay with family, it's not the same as living and working. I have the luxury of being able to come back here and experience both. And so it doesn't really matter what my opinion is, because I don't understand that personal struggle. I can say that I am for independence because I don't want the culture lost. I want Puerto Rico to always be as rich and as fruitful and as amazing as it is currently. But there are people that really are suffering over there. And the fact of the matter is, after Hurricane Maria, I think over 3 million people left the island to come to the US mainland, and they felt like they had no other choice because Puerto Rico was literally in shambles after the hurricane. For those of you who don't know, I was there for the hurricane. I visited Puerto Rico for the first time in 5 years at that point, and I experienced the wrath of the winds and everything firsthand, and it was devastating. But again, I had the luxury of being able to get on a plane finally 8 days later and come back here to New York City. It really doesn't matter what my thoughts are, because only people who live and work there, I feel, are really able to give a genuine, honest answer on it and why they feel that way. So the last question is, what can we do? What can we do to raise awareness for Puerto Rico, especially the voter referendum? It is just so important to vote, you guys. No matter where you are, it is so important to vote. This year is a crucial year. It's a crucial election. The world has gone through so much this year with COVID-19, with the protests, everything, and so it's so important for your voice to be heard. So I feel like we just need to keep saying that and preaching that on our social media. Do it on Twitter, do it on Instagram. If you have a YouTube channel, do it on YouTube, Facebook, any platform that you have. Go ahead and share that knowledge. Do your research as well, like read up on these topics, and most importantly, have the conversation, which again is what I want to do right now. That's the sole purpose of this video. I want to start the conversation because I feel like it's something that happens. This referendum, for example, is something that happens every few years and we never get anywhere from it. Puerto Rico is still in the same position, could be even in an even worse position after the hurricane. And so it's just really important to now have these conversations and have these understandings with our family that live there, with our friends that live there, making friends online that live there, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it for my little video on statehood versus independence. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And yeah, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.